Salutations, respected viewers. I'm George from Ireland. So here I am at the American International University in Richmond. By that I mean Richmond upon Thames in the United Kingdom. Not Richmond, Virginia, not the other Richmond in the UK, that's Richmond in Yorkshire. Anyhow, so the building you see here dates from around 1843. That was the year that Methodist Theological College was founded here. So people would come here for a few years, these young men, and they would study theology and be ordained ministers in the Methodist Church. But that closed in 1972, and in the old days, just inside the entrance hall was a life-size statue of John Wesley, who was, of course, the founder of Methodism. But that statue is now in Methodist Central Hall in the middle of London. He was a very short man, as you'll see if you ever go to see that statue. So anyway, then after this closed, Sir Cyril, oh God, I've forgotten his name, Sir Cyril somebody, it'll come to me. He helped set up this college here, and initially it was for American undergraduates who wished to do a year abroad whilst studying for their degrees in the United States, come here for 1 year and then go back to the United States, complete their degrees, graduate, that was that. But in 1981 that changed. They decided they would make this a college in its own right, and it would be doing like American style education here in London. And obviously, to begin with, almost all the students were American. Now the student body is quite diverse. Only about half of them are American. They're people from Zimbabwe, for instance. What else about studying here? So it's American styles, and they pick and mix, like have a major, have several minor subjects. In the United Kingdom, an undergraduate, you would usually just do one subject. They might do two or even three. If they do two or three, they tend to be closely allied, as in French and Spanish, or maths and physics, or history and English, or something like that. Whereas I know in the United States it's a complete mix-em gatherum. So there's some sports here, a lot of basketball, for example, which is much more popular in the United States. Basketball, it exists in the UK, it's never really caught on in the United Kingdom. People would like to play outside, there's good weather, and there's not very good weather here very much. This is an Indian summer, look at that, isn't it magnificent? Such a sublime day as the heavens have smiled upon us. But you can see that it's got some gorgeous grounds. We're atop Richmond Hill in the southwest corner of London, and if you go not far outside the walls of this college, you'll see the most splendid vista that's afforded you over the River Thames and to the west over the Thames Valley. What else can I say? You can see anyway the architecture of the main building is Gothic style, which is the height of fashion in the mid-19th century when it was built. And the other buildings around here in Twickenham, for example, where St Mary's University is there at Strawberry Hill, Twickenham, and it's actually rather a similar building. So what else about this place? It's got 1,300 students, great majority of them undergraduates. But so yeah, 1981 it became a college in its own right, and then a university, so can award postgraduate degrees. What else about it? So it was able to award degrees obviously recognised by the UK and the United States. I don't know if anyone comes here on a junior year abroad programme. You usually come here for the 4 years. Now, in 1988, they got their Kensington campus, which is much closer to the centre of London. We're on the edge of London. And so the idea is you come here for the first 2 years to this campus, and for the second 2 years, you're Kensington much further in. Now, what's the reasoning behind that? Well, partly the university becomes so successful it had outgrown its original premises, and the second part of the rationale was that you're here, and to begin with you're 18, you're new in this country, maybe not that sure of yourself here, and there's a smaller community, it's quite self-contained, and you feel more looked after. And then after 2 years here, people are happier to be nearer the centre of town and more independent. So that's that. Yeah, so here is the library, named after the British businessman who helped to found the place. So it's sort of a 1970s or 80s architecture, not that bad considering the era. So you can see it's an island of tranquility in London, although this is a very leafy and calm area. But obviously closer in Kensington, it'd be a little bit noisier. Kensington is a very chic the bit they opened there was the bit they founded there was opened in 1988 by Diana, Princess of Wales. So the Cyril Taylor Library it's called. Yeah, forgive me, it was Sir Cyril Taylor who founded it. So he was knighted by the Queen, that's why he's Sir Cyril. He would not be Mr. Taylor or Mr. Cyril Taylor. Sir Cyril because he was a captain of industry. He'd done so much for the economy, created jobs, so he got that honour. I thought you were not allowed to smoke here, but somebody is smoking, not that it bothers me. Now, the Swedish school in London, they occupy a little bit of the campus. The Swedish school in London used to be in an area called Barnes. I remember walking past it in 2006. I'm not quite sure when it moved out here. So they've got 83 academics here. You can do all the mainstream subjects. The major foreign language here is Spanish. They don't do medicine, but they do most of the other things you could think of. All right, so that is just a whistle-stop tour of the American International University in Richmond. It's a Saturday, which is why it's almost deserted. Anything else to say? It doesn't come cheap. The fees are fairly steep. All right, so I'll switch it off now.